Welcome to Really American. I am Michael Hayne. Now, I'm sure you guys all remember retired General John Kelly. Here's a refresher.
He basically said to you that those who died for America on the battlefield were losers and suckers, and he said it more than once.
Yes, but he would not quite. He would say it would always did something else would get him going. Oftentimes again, McCain, but he never could wrap his arms around why people would serve the country in uniform. What was in it for them? That was the general theme.
Yeah, I like my presidents who aren't indicted, arrested, and then criminally convicted. Anyway, yes, that was former four-star Marine General John Kelly, who had the horrible misfortune of serving as chief of staff under Trumpy Dumpty's first administration. Now, he has largely refrained from speaking out during his time as chief of staff. Now, however, he has come out vociferously in a full-throated rebuke of Trumpy Dumpty with just 2 weeks before the election.
But certainly, the former president is in the far right area. He's certainly an authoritarian. Admires people who are dictators. He has said that. So he certainly falls into the general definition of fascist, for sure.
Far right area. Here is the normal far right area. Here is Trump. That's where Trump is. Anyway, John Kelly did not stop there, and he had a bit more colorful things to say. I'm fairly certain these comments came in response to when Trumpy Dumpty wanted to use like the military, his own personal fascist brigade. Anyway, so John Kelly says, and I think this issue of using the military to go after American citizens is one of those things I think is very, very bad thing. Even to say it for political purposes to get elected, I think it's a very, very bad thing, let alone actually doing it. Well, looking at the definition of fascism, it's a far-right, authoritarian, ultra-nationalist political ideology and movement characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, belief in a natural social hierarchy, John Kelly went on to say. So certainly, in my experience, those are the kind of things that he thinks work better in terms of running America. I mean, ruining it. So basically, it's Idiocracy meets 1984 with a little bit of Handmaid's Tale thrown in there. By the way, did anybody ever notice that Melania Trump's Christmas trees that year kind of resembled the Handmaid's Tale maidens? I don't know. Anyway, the man who interviewed John Kelly broke it down a little bit further in his discussion with the retired four-star general.
Issue most of all because I've been very interested in Donald Trump's belief system as it pertains to authoritarian leaders. We've never had a president of the United States or a major party candidate, I believe, who has expressed such admiration for the leadership style of Adolf Hitler. And I think among the many things that John Kelly was shocked at when he worked in the White House, I think this is probably the most shocking for him, the idea that Donald Trump would regularly tell him and others how much he admired Hitler. And very specifically, John Kelly heard Donald Trump say repeatedly, and others have heard him say, that he admired aspects of Hitler's reign, and that he particularly admired the way that German generals were obedient to Hitler. Remember, Donald Trump, throughout his presidency, was frustrated by the generals, or my generals, as he called them, both people in the Pentagon and both people who were retired who worked in the White House, because they wouldn't sort of mindlessly listen to him or follow his orders. That's not the way it works in a democracy, obviously, when there's an order that is illegal or immoral. And he said to John Kelly, look, I want generals who are obedient like the German generals. And Kelly would push back, as you showed.
Let me talk for a moment about my good friend Adolf. All right. He had much better hair than me. I'm sorry to say. He had better hair than me. So basically, this was all taking place like we knew it was all taking place. And we had adults in the room, like John Kelly, who were pushing all this back and, trying to pull anything off the desk that the crazy fascist man-child was trying to do. But that's because we had guys like John Kelly then who were able to do this. Anyway, let's hear some more.
Unless you're someone like me or Mattis or people like that retired from the military or left the military, like Mark Esper or Mike Pompeo, and then go into a political job, whether it's elected or assigned by the White House. It's a little bit different because you're then involved in it. But for the most part, and that's why I'm so hesitant to talk. It's certainly never to tell or recommend to an American who they should vote for, because now that I'm out of the political job, I'm back to being pretty much a retired military officer who should not get too involved in this kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, I until the former president started talking about this, and this goes back to when I was in the White House, for that matter, DHS, I was, originally the conversation would be, Mr. President, that's outside your authority, or, that's a routine use. You really don't want to do that inside the United States. But now that he's talking about it as I'm going to do it, is again, it's disturbing.
I wonder if John Kelly had to use sock puppets and was like, the mustache genocidal maniac fascist bad. Constitution and a democracy good. Is that what he had to do to get through to Trumpy Dumpty? And that's what is so terrifying, because again, we had people like John Kelly, like Mark Milley, like even Rex Tillerson, like even Mark Esper, people who actually knew what to do, were competent, experienced, seasoned generals, people who have worked in Washington forever. Who are we going to get now if this were to happen? Marjorie Taylor Greene as Secretary of Defense? That's it. Go out and take down them Jewish space lasers. Put on your aluminum foil caps, people. Is that what we're going to get? Are we going to get Matt Gaetz as Secretary of State? Because that's the thing. Because no sound, reasonable person who ever worked, they're all against them. They're coming out left and right, speaking out against Trumpy Dumpty. We're not going to get those people again, who we thought were bad in 2016 to 2020. But no, those people are looking pretty damn good, John Kelly included. But again, those aren't the type of officials we're going to be getting with the B horror show, because again, sequels are never that good. And when we get the Trump sequel, which is basically going to be Herpes Simplex 2, if we get that, you can expect the most foul, horrific, vile supervillains imaginable. There's going to be no level, no quota on ignorance and stupidity and insanity. So that's why we all got to do our thing, do it early, do it on Election Day, and make sure that we send Kamala Harris into the White House. I am Michael Hayne. This is Really American. Please subscribe to our channel and check me out on my latest TikTok at Mike Hayne Comedian.